Well, Andrew, somehow, while I'm up here trying to make this thing run, it got a smell of smoke and all the lights stopped working. And then I started troubleshooting, and the servo is very hot. So I unplugged it and plugged in a different servo. And now everything works again. We've got reverse lights again and everything works. So somehow, just during testing, just on this, we lost the servo. So we knew it was coming sooner or later, but I think we need to buy a servo. Okay, so this is going to be a little story about Andrew's truck that I've been working on. This guy started as a very cheap find on Facebook Marketplace. Andrew picked up a body and wanted me to get it all put together for him. The truck that he brought into work for us to work on was it needed a lot of help. It had a lot of rust. It had received a lot of damage in its life. It was always, looks like put away wet out of the mud. The shocks did not move well in the slightest amount. You see how they're bound? They're on these shock keys and they just are not good at all. The electronics were rusty, very, very glitchy when it tried to move. All the screw holes in the transmission are stripped out. Lots and lots of noise. So anyway, we decided to replace the chassis because we knew we had a scale body coming. So what we did, we went on Amazon. And we got this one that has this built-in planetary gearbox. Be kind of hard to see it through all the wiring, but it sits up here and the motor's in line. It came with a metal skid and all metal cross members and a battery mount in the rear. And for the body that we were going to do, it seemed to work out the best. I did have some problems getting it to line up wheelbase wise. The rear was really good. The front, it all had to move forward a little bit so that the tires wouldn't touch on the back of the wheel wells. So when you actually look at it, I've played around with rod ends and made some longer ones up front. Ended up doing an angle one back here. That's a long one. These are the long Traxxas ends. But what that did is it actually made the track bar mount to the front instead of in the double shear area, but it had to be there in order to get anything to move right. So it has a locked up RC track bar, different links on the steering. This is a Gen 8 servo arm. And what we did, we ended up with a whole bunch of lights. It's got a winch controller. I'll just show you how all that does. Show you the body real quick. This is the body. We didn't do any trimming whatsoever underneath. So completely full interior. Got two figures in it. So I just plug in my two wiring connections here to the body. Come on. And then this one. Plug in the battery. So the battery sits all the way in the back. It had to be a little smaller to get it work right. We put in a 1080 Hobby Wing speed control. Ended up with a Radian brush motor, and it had to be a shorter one because the servo lines up way out in the front. The servo ended up melting down from the original setup, so new speed control, new servo, new battery, new motor, new wiring. So it just loads on with magnets. You just put it on just like that. So you lift it up, turn it on. The radio that we had on there was the box one out of the Gen 8, and it was really glitchy. We ended up getting this one here. It's a Fly Sky GT5. It's got 6 channels, does everything that we want to do. What's kind of neat about it, press this button here and it changes the headlight function, so we can go to those halos. New servo's nice and fast. This switch right here, you pull it down one, turns on your running lights, front and back. And when you go up one more click, turns on your big lights. So these make a lot of light. This one up here does your winch. So it's channel 6. And it should be, you turn it all the way up and it should go out, if I'm remembering right. Here, let me get this out of here. Go all the way up. No, that's in. So all the way down is out. And these will be very strong. So I just hook it on there, go in. 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 Out. It's not as smooth as I want it to be, but it does work. Okay, let's all the doors open. It's gonna be pretty cool. Let's go get it set up on a crawling thing. We'll see how it does. So this is the unit that I use for my driving tests. It was made by Northwest Scalar Design. He had it just sitting out in his yard. I went to visit him one time and Corwin just said, hey, do you want to take this thing home? So I did. Okay, so last time I drove this thing on here, the servo melted down. We're not going to have that problem today. Tried to tape some little, they're just gate markers, but it seems to kind of help it. They tend to get caught up on that bolt right in the middle of the test, so I don't want to scratch it up too much. Okay, let's give it a shot. This little test apparatus came from Corwin over at Northwest Scalar Design. He had it just sitting around and he let me take it home one day. It's a really cool tool. So with the headlights off, that's your function. It's brake lights and reverse lights. When you go forward, they turn off. When you have your running lights on, then it gives you where they dim. It's pretty cool. That's a hey-okay wiring controller. There's a lot of articulation on this tester. Gotta get up on here right. There it goes. All my cars have problems getting back up on this side. I got to do a little work to this thing, make it easier to get onto the approach. But actually, Jeep really had no problem with that. Got really bound up there. There we go. I think this is going to be a really fun car for Andrew. Let's turn on the big lights. Oh yeah. Off so we can see it. Just a basic articulation check. This thing can do pretty much whatever it wants, articulation wise. Pretty cool. I think it turned out really well. I hope Andrew will be happy with it. Got one more thing I'd like to look at. It's just some weight numbers, but I think we're ready to give this back to Andrew and I'll get on to my projects. All right, see you later.